What's up, everyone? Tonight we're going to show you how we add custom scratch built dormers made with just some leftover material from your kits. Everyone has kits that come with leftover wood, and you can make some cool stuff with it. We figured that this roof here needed a little extra features, so we're going to scratch build a dormer. Some of the pieces are already cut, but I'm going to show you my method on how I did it. Again, if you like what we're doing and you want to always get updates, hit that subscribe button down below. And it also might look a little different tonight because we're working on the TV tray. Oops, I bumped it. We're working on the TV tray tonight. We're not working down in the workshop. So here we go. Custom dormers. Here's how we do it. My first step was to find a window that I wanted to use. I wanted to use one of these small little square windows. I'm not sure the technical name of them, but small little square windows. That's the window we're going to use for the dormer. The next step we had to figure out was how high up we needed to make the front wall of the dormer. So all I did was this isn't very technical of a method here, but all I did was place the window on the board, and I kind of figured how high I wanted the wall section to be by just positioning it right. And what I came up with was this wall piece here that I scratch cut out. The inside cut out of the wall is a little rough, but what you can see is I got a nice piece of wall section that my window fits into perfectly. So that'll be the front of our dormer, and that'll sit right here on the roof. And then the next part was to figure out how high and long I needed to make the angle to go from the top of the dormer to the pitch, to match the pitch of the roof. So the next thing that I needed to do to find that pitch was obviously to measure the, measure the height of this wall section, right? And then take the wall section, place it approximately where I needed it on the building, and measure how far back it was from the top of that wall to where I wanted it to meet the roof. And what I came up with was these measurements here. So here is my dormers, the sides of the dormers that I cut to match the pitch of my roof. And I knew that because I knew the height of the front wall and I knew the length of the pitch of where it met the top of the roof over here. So we knew the two different sides of the triangle, so all we had to do is find the third piece, which was the top part of the dormer where the roof meets it. And then you just cut those out, and you shake the camera a little bit, and you end up with the sides of your dormers. So there we go. We have the sides of our dormers, and we have the front wall. Pretty easy. It's a pretty easy step. Next, all we're going to do is put a little bit of acetate behind this and glue the window in, and I'm going to show you how I assembled my dormers. Real quick note, these can just be cut out with a hobby knife. So I just used my hobby knife and sliced out the wall pieces. Your basswood is not too hard to cut when it's this thin. Just make sure you're safe and you're cutting away from yourself. So really all you need to cut it out is a good hobby knife with a sharp blade and a little bit of patience. All right, so real quick, we're going to show you, most of you know how to do this, but I'm just going to show you how I put my acetate in my windows on real quick. So we're just going to cut a little tiny piece. We don't need much for this because it's just one little window. That should be that's probably too much. We'll have to trim that down a little bit. Okay. All right, we got that cut. And now I'm going to cut my piece of black construction paper just to black out the window. Very simple, easy steps. And then next, I'm just going to take my little bit of wood glue, run around the frame of the window. You don't need very much glue at all because it's just a small piece. You drop the window, and you just stick the window in your cut hole there. And to find the cut of the hole, you just measure the back side of the window. We use the Tichy window. You just measure the part that goes into the wood frame that you cut out, and then you just cut that size hole into the piece of basswood, into your siding. So again, just a little bit of wood glue. I use wood glue for everything. You can critique me on it, but I just think it's easy to use, and I know a couple other people do it that way. Now we're just going to put the piece of construction paper down. Boom. Blacked out the window. We'll just set that there for now. The next step was to cut our side trim pieces. So I just measured them to the height of this wall. Just like that. Cut them out. Get a little bit of glue. All right, now we have our side trim on. We're just going to let those dry for a second. So we're actually going to work on this upside down. We're going to take the front wall piece and then flip it on its top side and put the top side down, and add a little glue on each side of the corner posts. And then take your gable, the angled part of your gable, and put the straight edge, the top, down. That's how I do these. And I just build them upside down. Add a little glue to this one. Put this side on. Like that. And just let them dry for a minute. So that's your gable. It's upside down right now. So in a minute we'll come back and we'll put it on top of the roof. Okay, we're back and our gable is dry enough to work with. So what we're going to do is take the bottom edge that goes, it's angled. And we're going to, must be a chunk in there. Put a little bit of glue on the bottom edge. It's bending a little bit. Probably could have waited a little longer for it to dry, but we can manipulate it once it's down. Not a big deal. So put some glue on it. Bottom side. It has way too much on that. There we go. And we will find a place that's, we're not going to do this very exact, but we'll find a place that's pretty centered. It looks pretty center. And we're just going to stick her on the roof. So there's our gable. The last thing it needs here is a roof. And fortunately for you guys, I already have one made. But what I did was I took a piece of chipboard, and I need to color the bottom of that a little better. Okay. It's colored. But what I did was I took a piece of cardboard chipboard, cut it to the size, and I Sharpied the edges black so you don't see the edge of the cardboard. And I also Sharpied underneath dark so you don't see the, doesn't show that cardboardy look. And what we'll do is we'll just stick her down on here. Just like that. And what I did was I did leave the back. Actually, let me glue it down first and I'll show you. So I'm going to run some glue along the top edge here. And what I did do was the back isn't 100% lined up, and it's exposed a little bit, but I'm going to show you why here in 1 second. So we have our gable edge on. Our gable roof on, I'm sorry. There it is. I'm going to move the light a little bit for you guys. There. Anyways. So what I did here was I left the back gap a little bit. That way I can take my extra shingle material and make it match. Flush with the roof. So what I'm going to do is cut another section to the width that I need it. I might do just 2 of them, just to be safe. Cut it to the width of the roof, like that. And then just get a little glue on there. And actually just a tiny bit on the tar paper section. And what I'll do is stick it onto, or make it flush up here with the roof now, with the existing roof. There we go. Edge to edge. Oh, I need a little bit more glue on that section. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here on the ridge. Just like that. It's pretty thin. It looks like it's brighter because of the light, but we're going pretty thin with the glue here. And then we just press it down so it's flush with the ridge of the roof. And then I will weather this next, but this is not a weathering video. That is how to add a gable to a roof. What you can also do is add like a piece of trim on the edges here and a piece of trim on the bottom if you're so inclined. But we're going to actually do what we did in the other video and paint a line of tar around this. That way it looks like it's tarred to be waterproofed. But there you go. That's how we add a gable. And I'll pop this out here and show you. That's how we added a gable to that roof. So before and after, we'll throw a photo up and you'll see the difference. But I think it adds a lot more like depth and customness to that roof. Makes it look a lot different than it did before.